So guys, today we're going to be talking about the spiciest takes that I can come up with from what I've heard from my comment section or just being around the Dynasty Warriors online community for some time now. And we're going to start off with an honorable mention, and hopefully that'll clarify kind of what we're doing in the video today. Anyway, and the first honorable mention is going to help us ease into the spicy takes. Multiple characters can be on this list, but the first three I think about is Shu Chu, Wei Yan, and Zheng He in Dynasty Warriors are perfectly iterated. Now, I've seen a few people have said this throughout, again, my online time in the games, and they say that Zheng He, Shu Chu, and Wei Yan are among the tops that are, like, perfectly iterated. They wouldn't change the character, they're great, who cares about the novel or the way they were in history. These characters are great. I can agree to an extent, but I think with with Zheng He, I like his claws. His character iteration in Dynasty Warriors 3 was pretty good. I mean, I liked him in Dynasty Warriors 3. It wasn't too crazy, it wasn't too in your face, it was perfectly balanced. Shu Chu and Wei Yan are a little different. Shu Chu, there's nothing I've really liked about the character, but his personality, the way he's represented, it's just like, really? You gotta do my boy like that? That's a little rough. If you read about how he is in the novel, you know that that's a great disservice to him. And then Wei Yan being the barbarian who sounds like he's having a stroke every time he talks. You die! It's just not the best iteration for the character, you know what I mean? So people that think that these characters are perfectly iterated or shouldn't be touched is, I would say, a bit of a spicy take, and that's why it's here at the honorable mention. But this doesn't even touch the top 10. With that being said, let's start off with the number 10 most spicy take I've heard in the Dynasty Warriors community. Alright, coming in at number 10, I think this is an interesting one, and you guys will let me know. Sun Quan is the best ruler of the Three Kingdoms. Yes. What do you guys think about that one, huh? Sun Quan, better than Cao Cao. Liu Bei, Sima Yi, Sima who? Sun Quan is number 1, guys. The best ruler. He carried on the legacy of his brother and father. Pretty much responsible for the death of one of his close friends, according to the games. Didn't really expand his territory at all. Couldn't really do much. Best ruler. Obviously, it's a little bit of a flawed take here. Definitely a little spicy. We're turning up the heat a little bit. Definitely a wild take, I would say, for sure. I mean, Sun Quan as one of the best rulers of the Three Kingdoms is insane. That's going to start off our top 10. Let's go ahead and go on to number 9. Alright, next up coming in at number 9, we have the Guan Kids and the Baos, these two right here, are a perfect addition to the Dynasty Warriors series. So I'm not going to say that I have seen a comment that said it exactly like this, but I have seen some pretty spicy takes where they don't, and I can kind of agree with it, where they don't have such a visceral hatred for the Guan Kids minus Guan Ping and the Baos, Bao Sanyang and Zheng Bao. And I can agree to a sense. They're not the perfect addition to the game. It's just, I'm just exaggerating that. But I think they're good additions. I think they need more development. Specific, unique things to them. Like Guan Xing and Zheng Bao could be separate leaders for something. Some of them fall kind of flat because they're not bringing a lot of value to the series. Like where do they get their bearings? Where do they become unique and different, and we end up cheering for them and like yeah it's awesome, and he's carrying on the legacy of his fathers, and that's a tough take to look at, because I do like some of the characters that it's involved in this number. Like Guan Xing is probably my favorite out of all of them, and I think if they are developed correctly, they can definitely earn the love from the fan base. But as of right now, they're so empty, so them being such a questionable addition to the games make no sense. So that's all I have for number 9. Let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Alright, coming in at number 8, we have the Kingdom of Shu being the best kingdom, as that is spicy take number 8. So Shu being the best kingdom is a spicy take. It's not wrong. There's no right or wrong answer for this. Like, you put Wei here, you put Wu, Jin, whatever. But Shu being the best kingdom is a spicy take because of the controversy that it stirs up that I've seen in the online community. Like Wei, same thing. There's people that are like, Wei sucks, da da da. Or Wu's not that fun, they're bland or boring, they don't have any good generals, all that stuff. But Shu being crowned as the best kingdom by somebody is a take. That's a very spicy take because of the reputation that Shu has acquired from the online community. Because Shu is being pushed as the protagonist, the good guys, yet they have all these flaws and imperfections, and obviously they're not, the most perfect of people, but because they are pushed that way, people who align with Shu being their favorite causes a spicy reaction. If you think Shu is the best kingdom, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Even if you believe, like, you know, Ma Chao and Zheng Fei are great characters, who cares, right? They're both fictional anyway. If you want to dive into a novel, or you want to dive, you know, darker into the history, fine, do that. Have your opinions about it. But in the games, I think Shu being the best kingdom shouldn't be such a spicy take, but it is. And unfortunately, because of that, it's here on the list at number 8. Alright, coming in at number 7, again, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, but it's going to encapsulate the spiciness of this take. Number 7, we have cloned weapons are amazing. Now again, similar to what I've said before, I haven't found anybody that has said, I don't think I've found one person that has said this. So it's definitely spicy if somebody does agree, or somebody were to say. No, clone weapons are great, keep cloning them, keep doing it, who cares? I mean, they all had swords and spears in that time anyway. Most of us watching have been fans for a long time, whether it be in the older games, or maybe you came a little later into Dynasty Warriors 6, 7, or 8. You've been a fan for a while, because Dynasty Warriors 8 came out 10 years ago, so we've had a long time to get used to these characters. But I don't think there's many people that can agree with, if somebody had the exact same moveset, that they would enjoy those characters individually. Because, I mean, what's the point of playing that other character if you've already played the other person? So, clone weapons being something that people like or would advocate for would definitely be a spicy take. But because I haven't really seen it, it's going to be here at number 7. Next up, coming in at number 6, kind of similar to number 7. I don't think I've seen anybody say it. I'm sure there's somebody out there who thinks that, depending on which level you play on or difficulty you play on for the game. Number 6, we've got Lu Bu is not that tough to beat. Again, I have not seen somebody say that. If somebody thinks that Lu Bu is easy to beat, please let me know down below, and proof to go with it. But again, it's the same hypothetical thing if you were to say, well, why is everybody struggling against, what's the big deal about Lu Bu? There's this other perspective that Lu Bu's overrated, you know, similarly to what I said about Shu, about some of his feats are over-exaggerated, he wasn't the greatest warrior, he's not that strong, you know, whatever it may be, all that stuff, and that kind of ties into this one. So if anyone were to take this spicy take of Lu Bu is not difficult to beat in the game, I just would like to see that. I haven't personally seen it. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't have a horror story about Lu Bu, right? Unless you avoided him. If you avoided him when you were younger, or when you got older and you never really don't have a lot of traumatic stories with him, I can see you being like, Lu who? But for the most part, for most of us, you know, day one fans or people that have been around for a while, Lu Bu definitely poses a threat. And it's just not a sentence that you would say that Lu Bu is not that tough to beat. He's not that hard, right? Dynasty Warriors Origins on the horizon here. We are all expecting Hulao Gate to be quite the stiffy, you know what I mean? Dynasty Warriors 9, okay, if you want a blanket statement and put that on Dynasty Warriors 9, fine. But the rest, like as an overall grand scheme statement from the series, it would be a very spicy take to say, yeah, Lu Bu's not that difficult to beat. Yeah, I did on the first try. No problem. Anyways, go ahead and move on to the top 5 spiciest takes from Dynasty Warriors. Alright, coming in at number 5, I've seen this one before, and the reason that's up here, and it's nothing wrong with it, okay? So if you have a spicy take, because I have a couple spicy takes, right? There's some numbers on here that I agree with. If you have a spicy take, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, number 5, I've heard it before, and again, it's not wrong, but number 5 is Gan Ning is better in Dynasty Warriors 7 and on. I have actually seen this comment. I've actually have seen people say this. They liked him with the flail. They liked him with the mullet, or whatever he had in Dynasty Warriors 7. Dynasty Warriors 9, Dynasty Warriors 8, you know, they liked him with the flail, and they liked him more with those things than the daggers, or the river sword, or how he looked in those games, or how he was in those games. I think his personality has been pretty good for most of the games, but in terms of his weapon style and the overall character than himself, I have seen a few comments where people say that they like him from Dynasty Warriors 7 and on better than the old version of him, which is a very Flamio Hotman take for sure, because Gan Ning is legendary and so iconic in the old games. And the same can be said about Zhang Liao or Zhou Yu. People liking, you know, Zhou Yu or Zhang Liao after Dynasty Warriors 5 is another spicy take. I'm one of those people that loves Zhou Yu after Dynasty Warriors 5. His Elder Sword is not really that appealing to me. I think the staff is much better. The AoE is better, the moveset's better in my opinion, and that's a spicy take that I stand by. And that's okay. That's just something that I believe in. Zhang Liao, there's people that really love the twin axes over the Gulian Dao, or even like the longer axes versus the shorter ones he had in Dynasty Warriors 6. I personally like the twin axes from Dynasty Warriors 6. I think those were the best fit for Zhongliao. Definitely a higher take, I think. I think it's a little bit more spicier than the first 5. You guys will let me know down below, but let's go ahead and move on to number 4. Alright, taking the stage once again, front and center, we've got Lu Bu coming in at number 4 once again. And the spicy take with him is that he is not the strongest character in the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, I've seen this a multitude of times because I made 2 videos on the strongest characters from this game. Lu Bu is 100% the strongest character in the game. And the book, alright? And that's what my list is really based off of, the novel and the game. That's what we love. We love the game. We're not playing this game for history lessons. We're playing it because we enjoy the battlefield aspect, the fantasy around it, the fun, clashing with other generals and peons, and just going to war on a battlefield with the martial arts and swords and spears that the characters have. Lu Bu not being the strongest character, not being number 1. So if someone makes a strongest character list and Lu Bu is not number 1, that is going to put the kitchen on fire. Thermometer up past 100, because there's no way you can't agree with Lu Bu not being the strongest. In the novel, at least, he's done some insane things. Yeah, he was a little overrated or arrogant in terms of his martial arts prowess, but that dude is an extremely difficult character to fight in the games, and a lot of the characters that have fought Lu Bu have struggled. If they have beaten, for the most part, for what I've read, it's never one-on-one. It's an army or strategic tactical thing that takes the edge away from Lu Bu, forcing him to retreat. Or his pride, like he's going against the 3 brothers, or he's going against 6 of Cao Cao's officers at once, and he can no longer hold out. Doesn't necessarily mean he's not the strongest, because one-on-one, no tactics, no nothing, you're going to sit here and tell me that Lu Bu is going to lose against somebody? I don't think so. And that was among the spiciest takes I've actually seen a lot. So coming at number 4 is Lu Bu, apparently not being the strongest character from the Dynasty Warriors series. Alright, next up, coming in at number 3. My goodness, the house is on fire with this. I haven't seen it, again, not verbatim, I'm not quoting anybody, but I have seen similar comments that would agree with this statement. And that statement is, Zhang Fei and Xiaoji's relationship is okay in Dynasty Warriors 9. So this is extremely spicy because it's such a bad, spicy take. It's like the fire is like black and dark and just nasty because it's just the way Xiaoji has been implemented. I would have no problems with it. If she was older and it was more appropriate, fine. Oh, it's a fictional game. Create the elements that make sense in the game. This brings no good things for the game. 0. So for Xiaoji and Zhang Fei's relationship in Dynasty Warriors 9, being a good thing is an extremely black fire Amaterasu type heat. It's not something you want to be around because that is an extremely spicy take. It's something that a lot of people don't agree with. There's a reason that she is, spoiler, number 1, the most hated character from the Dynasty Warriors series from the data that I collected. Anyway, let's go and move on to number 2, and then of course number 1. Alright, coming in at number 2. This one's a tough one because now, if I had to give, like, it's like 25% agree with it because there's some good moments for this spicy take. I wouldn't say this flame is as dark, but I still think it's spicier than the last one. And that's going to be Dynasty Warriors 9 has amazing voice acting. Amazing or outstanding from an overall standpoint is absolutely no. 0. No. But there are good-ish moments. I will give them that. Not every character was voiced terribly. I think Guan Yinping has a great voice. I think her voice actually improved from 8 to 9. Cao Cao's voice is okay. Is it better than the old one? No, but that's okay. I think it fits him as a character. Zhuge Liang's voice in Dynasty Warriors 9 is okay as well. And then some of the newer characters or less known characters, I mean, they were fine, right? But this being a spicy take is because of the fact that they replace some of the best voice actors for our characters, some of the most iconic ones, and they got replaced with people who, you know, they're going to get a lot of eyes. You know, there's certain iconic characters that should be voiced a certain way, and we all know we're going to be looking at those characters and seeing how they get voiced. Nobody's going to care about Guan Xing getting voiced a different way, but they're going to look at Zhao Yun. They're going to look at Lu Bu, and we're going to hear that something's not right. It takes away a lot of the character's things. Sima Yi's voice, I don't like Sima Yi's voice in Dynasty Warriors 9. I think it's exaggerated. I think it's a little exaggerated for who he is as a person. Cao Pi has decent moments. Lu Xun's okay. Liu Bei's okay for the game. You know, Guan Yu, no, I don't like Guan Yu in this game. So the voice acting being amazing, would definitely be a spicy take. I think most fans would disagree with that statement. I think, again, benefit of the doubt, there were some good ones, some decent ones, but overall the game has been devastatingly impacted because of the voice acting from Dynasty Warriors 9. And finally, coming in at number 1, I kind of agree with this one. I'm going to explain why. So we have Dynasty Warriors 6 and Dynasty Warriors 9 are better than the old generation of Dynasty Warriors. That is 100% the spiciest take. And why do I know that? Because my rankings of the best games, in my opinion, I get flamed. I'm not sitting here saying Dynasty Warriors 9 is the best game. But there are some things I did in that video. If you guys have seen it, I might remake it because I think I changed my mind a little bit. But at Dynasty Warriors 9, I put actually over Dynasty Warriors 4. Why did I put it over it? The narrative of Dynasty Warriors 9, voice acting was terrible. Not going to go back into that. But Dynasty Warriors 9's narrative was, to me, more enjoyable than Dynasty Warriors 4. That's the main reason. That is it. There's no character, weapon styles, or anything like that that's bringing me back. Combat system, Dynasty Warriors 4 is superior in all that. The items, the crafting, all that, much better. But in terms of a storytelling narrative, I would rather play Dynasty Warriors 9 than Dynasty Warriors 4. I think Dynasty Warriors 4 is great for the first run through, but Dynasty Warriors 9 is interesting because every character has a different ending, and that's what I hunted for my channel, and just for me personally, because I like to see what they give each character. And because I put that over Dynasty Warriors 4, you best believe, I'm getting flamed. And then going into Dynasty Warriors 6, Dynasty Warriors 6 is my second favorite game, which is above Dynasty Warriors 5. It's above, obviously, Dynasty Warriors 4, and for me, it's on relatively the same level as Dynasty Warriors 3. But if somebody were to say Dynasty Warriors 6 was their favorite, it's like a cardinal sin for Dynasty Warriors fans because of the Renbu system and because of clone weapons and because of Dynasty Warriors 6 did a lot of things wrong that has put a very permanent dark stain on the series, and they bounced back with 7-ish, and they completely bounced back with 8. But Dynasty Warriors 6 was I think the introduction to perhaps the downfall of the series. I think some people can agree with that. And putting that game above the rest is a black flame, dark red center of the flame, bloody take. Because like I've already said, most people would just be up in arms about it. Well, again, that video, I've gotten plenty of flack from it. But again, that's why I said stay true to your personal feelings. There's a reason that I did that, and I explained myself. That's my explanation. That's how I feel. If I had to redo it now, I probably would put Dynasty Warriors 4 over it. I've played Dynasty Warriors 4 a lot more since that last video, and I've enjoyed Dynasty Warriors 4. I've enjoyed it a lot more than when I was going through my analysis series, and I just wanted to get through that game. I was like, I cannot do this. And the reason that is, again, it's the story narrative. Every time I played through a character, if it was 2 way characters back to back, I played the same story twice. And I was looking for those Easter egg cutscenes. I was looking for something that was different. There's nothing different. There's nothing different about the story parts. And then Dynasty Warriors 6 is a nostalgic game for me. It's going to always hold a very special place in my heart. And again, for me, the story is more important to me for the Dynasty Warriors games than anything else. And the stories were told so well. I enjoyed the story so much as a kid. I would sit down and eat food. You eat food and you watch TV. Dynasty Warriors 6 cutscenes was my TV. That's what I did when I was 12, 13 years old. I came home, got my food, sat down after school, and I watched Dynasty Warriors 6 cutscenes as I ate my food. That was my entertainment. And for me, that's why I don't mind putting them above the old era. But if you do that, you're going to get a lot of flack. People are going to absolutely flame you for it, and that's okay. That's okay, as long as you have your personal feelings about it and you explain yourself as best you can. People are going to agree and disagree, and that's just the way the world works. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video here. These are the top 10 spiciest takes from Dynasty Warriors. And I'm sure I missed something because I was going through my list and I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. But I think, the most important ones. And you guys let me know down below if I miss anything. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I definitely appreciate a like, a comment, a subscribe, all that good stuff that helps out the channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.